the left. 1, 2, 3. You jab. 1, 2, 3. We go to the right. Right. 1, 2. That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3. Good.
They're doing some stepping and distance drills for a martial art known as Jeet Kune. You know what? This is a drill that you could do with us, actually. It'll look like this. Why don't you give us a little breakdown of how this drill goes?
So what we're doing, we're going to be in guard stance, our hands are up. This is a distance drill, and the distance that we're in right now is called punching range or boxing range. I'm here, you're there. We're going to do an exchange drill. So the first thing we do is we move in this direction 3 steps, starting with the left foot. 1, 2, and then I bring my right foot with me. You're going to throw a jab. I parry, I jab, you parry, you jab back a 3rd time, I parry again. Now we go in this direction, starting with the right leg, or the other leg based on whichever lead you're in. Then I start. 1, you parry, 2, you jab, 3, you parry, and we come back. So one more time, this way, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Then we go the other direction. 1, 2, 3. Then I start. 1, 2, and 3. So if we do it all together, this is what it looks like. We start in this direction, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. You jab first. 1, 2, 3. Then we go this way. 1, 2, 3. Now I jab. You defend. That's it. Again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And again this way. 3, 1, 2, and 3.
I suppose if you got mixed up, it wouldn't be absolutely terrible. You'd still be learning something.
Correct. Not at all. The whole concept is to be able to adapt and adjust based on what's coming at you. So it's all good. So
at some point in time, there is an opportunity for you to jab, for you to strike, and there's another opportunity at another moment for you to parry, to block something. And this drill just kind of puts that together.
Yes.
Right. So if you parry while I'm parrying, it's not a terrible thing there. You just want to get into a sense of exchanging, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that a couple more times.
Sure.
Okay.
So we start here. Again, knees are bent, hands are up, hips are slightly turned, relaxed, going this way. 1, 2, 3. You jab first. 1, 2, 3. Now we go this way. 3. I jab next. 1, 2. It's important to keep those hands up the whole time. Elbows are in. 1, 2, 3. This way. 2, 3. And then I go. 1, 2, and 3.
Awesome. Now, is this the only drill that you do in Jeet Kune?
Not at all. There are many.
Many.
As I said, working with Amy, we were working in boxing range. If I was working now with you, we would go into kicking range, which is a different range. So if we stand here together, kicking range means that I can reach you with my legs, but I cannot touch you with my hands.
Got it.
And my range is different from yours based on how tall you are and how short I am.
So you might be doing this by yourself, but if you are doing this with a partner, you'd probably take a little slightly longer step back from each other. So not quite so close as in boxing range, but maybe a little bit wider.
Yes.
If you're doing this by yourself and just watching us here, just imagine that you've taken a little bit of distance.
So this time we stand a little farther apart. Again, we're starting in this direction. I start with my rear leg, you start with your front leg. We move. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to take your front leg and pivot, kick my back leg here. 1, 2, 3, kick exchange. Okay, we're still in good distance now, so we can move. 1, 2, 3. Now I begin. 1, 2, 3. And then we go back this way. 1, 2. Now here's the trick. Just keep the distance, right? So you kick. 1, 2, 3. Check. We're good. 1, 2, 3. Now I start. 1, 2, and 3.
Beautiful. Now, is there anything else that we want to do in distance drills, or we could just keep on doing the same thing?
We can do that, or we can use the lead leg as well. So if I was going to start here, we would do the same drill, but this time I would use my front leg and just come down this way. It's a little bit of a difference as far as the range is concerned, because if I'm standing here with you, I have to just move out a little bit here, but now I'd be too close for this one. So it's just slightly different on the range. I go 1, you would come in, that's it, and then 3. And
so I'm actually changing distance to take the kick.
Correct.
I have to move in a little bit. All right. So these drills are fundamental to many different kinds of martial arts, but especially so in this martial art known as Jeet Kune or JKD. Sometimes we shorten up the name a little bit. The idea here is that in a real fight, people are moving around all the time. You can't just assume that they're going to stand there very nicely for you to hit. So you have to gauge the distance that you have to get closer to them or get farther away from them. We've got a lot more of these kinds of drills, plus a lot more of instruction coming up right after this. For most of the martial arts that we study, We imagine ourselves entering into a school and learning the specific techniques and style of that martial art. But what would it be like to have a martial art that changed with every individual that studied it? What would it be like for you to study that kind of martial art? What would happen? Well, the first thing that would happen is that the martial art would adapt itself to your body structure, to your mental state of mind, your preparedness, your discipline. It would change according to who else was studying it and what your level of expertise it was. For another student, the martial art might look entirely different because it would adapt itself to their body, their mind, their spirit. Well, this is the martial art known as Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. This is the martial art that was developed and made famous by Bruce Lee, the famous martial arts actor, film star, and martial arts genius. He was a bridge between the traditional Chinese martial arts of the East and the modern American approach to fighting in the West. And what he brought together was a style that capitalized on the techniques and the traditions of fighting we found in his original style of martial arts, Wing Chun, but with an eye to incorporating the wisdoms of many different styles, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from France and Europe, including fencing and boxing, Western boxing, and all these came together to create this very unique style. In fact, Jeet Kune Do is less of a style than an approach to training. There are no forms in Jeet Kune Do, no prearranged kata, nothing to do except to learn to adapt to the situation and intercept what's coming to you so that you can respond accordingly. We're very fortunate to have with us as the instructor today, Sifu Helena Collin. 4th Dan, black belt in Junfan Jeet Kune Do. 3rd Dan, black belt in Kenpo Karate. Silver gloves instructor in French Savate. Crew level instructor in Muay Thai kickboxing. And co-creator of Escape to Safety, Women's Self-Defense.
Okay, feet together, hands at your side, back nice and straight. Deep breath in. Let it out. Take your left foot, step forward. Right fist, left hand on top of the fist, to the right. As I step with my right leg, toe to the ground, come forward. Back, feet together, double hammer fist up, and push down. Now we're ready to begin our lesson.
Sifu, Jeet Kune Do is combined with another martial art or another concept in your school called Junfan. What is Junfan?
Junfan is actually what we call the foundation for Jeet Kune Do. Junfan was created by Guru Dan Asano basically to be able to teach people who are not Bruce Lee, to be able to take the martial arts that he has and use them as the individuals that they are. So really, the tenets of the Junfan training deal with what we call the 6 levels on the triangle, in the Junfan triangle.
What are those 6 levels?
The 6 levels, the first one is for footwear and mobility.
Okay.
The second one is basic tool development.
Basic tools.
Basic tools.
And this means punches.
Punches, kicks, individual strikes.
Got it.
Third level would be to defend those basic tools.
Okay, defend those basic. Let's stop right there, because I think 3 is all I can handle in my head for right now. Where do we start?
We start with learning how to do the basic strikes and the basic kicking and the basic tool development. So what we would do for the first one is we'll start off with the lead hand jab. I know most of you have done this before, so we'll keep the explanation brief, but there's some specifics to Jeet Kune Do training that I'd like to point out for you. So our stance is our basic, as I said before, heel is up on the ball of the foot. Front foot is angled in slightly. Right hand is to your face. Our left hand comes out a little bit more and we angle. This hand is the feeling hand, and we can just kind of see what's coming from this position. We never want to be up here. We always want to be out in front. So when we do our lead hand jab, we're going to shift our weight to the front leg as the hip turns. The hip's where the power comes from. So as I shift, if you notice, my jab is on the diagonal. Now when we cross, it's the same understanding. The most important thing is the hip shift. So when we shift, we turn that rear heel up and the hip comes forward. So as we do that, the right hand comes out. Again, the fist is diagonal. Left hand stays up by the face. Weight's on the front leg, and then we shift back. So as we punch, breathe out and come back. The breath is extremely important. As we strike, and back. It keeps you centered. It also gives you more energy and can also make your strike even more strong than it would be without the breath. So one more time, when we cross the rear leg, you're going to shift, diagonal strike, left hand stays up by the face, breathe, and then come right back. All together and go. Now, The next strike we would cover would be the hook, and the lead hook's a little different. The most important thing to remember is the weight's on the rear leg, and you're going to get that heel up off the ground as the hip comes forward for the power. So as we do that without the hands, it would just be a shift like this, and then the body follows. So as I shift, this is the only time in JKD that you bring your elbow up. Most of the time our elbows are down nice and tight, but this time the elbow's going to come up. This time the hand is vertical. Like this, straight line with the elbow. So as I shift, I bring it back and come this way. First, we have to shift forward. So I shift 1, weight's on the front leg. 2, the hand comes up. 3, I go to the rear leg and hook back and come back. So one more time, I drop the body weight forward, I bring the elbow up, I shift, and I come right back. So if we do this together in combination very slowly, first thing we do, the hip all comes from the hip. So we start with the jab. Diagonal fist. As the jab hand comes back, I cross, and as the cross hand comes back, see I'm already in position, I hook, and then we're back to position. That's the combination. One more time together. Jab, cross, hook. So those are some of the basic tools. There are many more, but those are the 3 basic tools that we're going to start with today for the upper body and the boxing range. Now, the tools that we have in the lower range, of course, are some of our kicks. And in Jun Fan, the lead leg is key. We always use the lead leg first. So if we're starting in our stance, just like we have, the first thing we're going to do is take that rear leg. We're going to do what we call a pendulum. Pendulum is I replace my step, I kick, and I come back. It's not a step up and kick per se. It's more of a replacement. It's a fast, powerful motion. Boom, and comes right back. It's a low kick, not necessarily a high kick. So as I come up and back. So again, slowly I replace my step. So as I replace the step, I kick and I come back.
Can we just do that pendulum part maybe 5 or 6 times?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's do it like this. We're going to take our rear leg, and as we pendulum, just bring that knee up like that and come back. Let's do it 5 times. Ready? 1, bring it up. That's it. 2, 3, keeping the hands up the whole time. 4, and 5. Now we add the kick. So as the knee comes up, the kick comes out. Let's do that 5 times together, a little slower. Ready? 1. And make sure we're breathing. 2. 3. Good. 2 more. 4. 5. Now, the lead leg is for distance as well, because my distance will be different from the lead than it will be from the rear. So we do a rear leg basic tool as well. So that one, all I do is I open up, because remember, our stance has a little bit of an angle here. So I open up that foot to get the hips out, I kick, and I come right back. Now when you're striking, for combat, you're using the toe. Jeet Kune Do uses a toe. For training, we use the instep on the pads, which we'll show you in just a little bit. So right from here, I turn, rear leg, kick, come back, I close the gate. Open the gate, kick, close the gate. This gate is here to protect the groin area. Okay, so one more time. Open the gate, and back. Let's do 5 together. Okay, and 1, 2, good. Now a little more pop into it. 3, that's it. 2 more. 4, and 5. Excellent. Now, we're going to keep it with just that one kick for understanding, but I'd like to show you the difference is the ranges, because JKD and Jun Fan really is all about being able to bridge the gap from one range to the next. We have several ranges in the Jeet Kune Do. Kicking is the first range, whereas, if I may, this is kicking range, where I can strike with my kick, but I cannot strike with my hands.
So another word for range might be the distance between the 2 combatants.
Correct.
Got
Absolutely.
it.
Now, if I throw the kick, but then I land in, and now I can strike with the hands, this puts us in boxing or punching range.
So you've just changed into 2 ranges. You've started in one range and then moved into another range or distance.
Absolutely. Now, right from here, from boxing range, let's say you block my hand. This puts me now, if I step in, I'm now in hand immobilization or trapping range, or I can use a bent arm strike, an elbow, a headbutt, a knee, a stomp. Now from here, if I so choose, the next range would be coming in, grappling, throwing you to the ground, striking on the ground, and wrestling, which puts us in grappling or wrestling range. The Jun Fan and the Jeet Kune Do training covers all these different areas and all these different ranges. But before we can do that, we need basic tool development to get there.
Got it. Perfect. All right, so what comes next? We've talked about the different ranges. We've talked about these basic tools. What would we progress? Working with the pads?
Working with the pads, yes. We always train on equipment. When we teach a beginner level student, we start a little bit in the air like this, just so you understand the positioning and the control and where you have to be. We always work on equipment because equipment allows us to, number one, get instant feedback. As soon as you strike, you know if your strike was effective or not and what you have to do to adjust that. Number two, when you have a pair of focus pads on, it represents the targets on the person's body. This is the face, side of the head, the groin, the ribs, wherever you want to put it. And thirdly, when you hit pads and they don't hit back, it is amazing stress relief. So that part of it is excellent as well.
So that's definitely something we want to move into next. For now, you could practice these basic drills on your own or with a partner as many times as you want to. As Sifu said, this is your basic toolkit. So you want to practice your basic tools as often as possible. We're going to put the pads on and come back right now. Sifu Helena and Amy now have sparring gear on. They've got a focus mitts and they've got gloves on because even after you've practiced the basic tools of any martial art, you want to be able to feel the impact of that. So I'm going to let you guys practice a little bit.
Okay, now as we said earlier, we always use equipment in our training. And so we're going to show you a little bit on how these strikes are effective on the pads. So if we're going back to the jab that we did earlier, remember, shifting the hips, diagonal fist into the pad, straight this way. Okay, so we're going to do 3 as I shift. 1, again, 2, 3. Now, right now, I just want you to watch, and then we're going to go over it together in a moment. So the cross, again, I shift that rear leg, the hands stay up. I shift in, 1, 2, the whole body. JKD uses the whole body, not just an arm punch. You want to get the whole hip into it. 2, and 3. Now, on the hook, as we said before, when I hook, now remember, this represents the face. This would be the side of Amy's face that I'm striking here. So I shift the body forward, again, weights on the front leg, hands are up. Bring the elbow up. As I shift back, I come in. I shift forward, and I come back. Notice the breath. Okay, again, breathing's important. One more time, shift forward. So now, here's where we put everything into combination. We take our basic tools and learn how to combine them so that now we have a repertoire that we can use in actual combat. So from here, we're going to start with our basic jab cross. Pay attention to the hip shift and keeping the hands up, target right in the middle. So we do 3, 1 slow. Notice when one hand comes back, the other comes out. 2, a little stronger. And 3, again, diagonal fist. Okay. You can also do a combination using the hook. We're going to shift for the cross and the hook. Now, after I cross, I'm already in position for the hook as it comes in. So when we do this, I cross and I hook. Right? So one more time. Okay. And then a third combination that you can start to practice would be to use all 3. Jab, cross, then hook. So I jab, I cross, I'm already in position, and then I hook. So if we do it together one more time. 1, 2, and 3, and last one. And there's timing and different rhythms that we can use as well. So now, if we were doing this together, you and I, or you can do this by yourself by looking in the mirror at home. What you'll want to do is take your stance, keep your hands up. So if you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're looking at your nose. I'm going to shift, strike my single jab, and come right back. Again, I can shift, strike my jab, and back. Looking in the mirror again, at your nose here, and the side of your head here. I can also hook low to the body if you wanted to get some variation in there. The combinations as well. Jab, and then you shift, cross. The good thing about looking in the mirror is it's going to do exactly what you do so you can see when you're doing it well and when you need to fix certain things like your hands are up or your hip shifting. So one more time. I can jab, I can cross. One more, jab or cross. Now, you can also do the cross and the hook. Cross, make sure you stay here, hook. And it doesn't have to be any faster than that. You can start with it that slow, right? Cross, hook, and then as you get more comfortable, you can pick it up a little bit. As you feel this is something you're ready to do. Take your time with it. So now we work with the kicks. We're going to do one kick today, the lead leg pendulum kick that we did before. In JKD and Jin Fan, the lead leg is key. So what we're going to do is remember that pendulum that we did earlier on the pads. This is what it looks like. Kick. And one more time. Now again, using the instep. Toe for combat, instep for training. So if we do it together in the mirror, thank you, ma'am. In the mirror, you would watch your feet straight ahead, replace your step like we did earlier, and back, and one more time, and back. So this is some of the basic tool development that we're talking about. We discussed the triangle earlier. The first one was footwork and movement. Second area, tool development. Now the third area is the defenses for the basic tools. So we're going to go into a little bit of that right now for you. So we're going to start, so you can see a little bit better. Take these off. And Amy here is going to throw the jab. So I'm going to describe to you first the 5 basic ways that we can defend an attack. So if it's off the lead hand jab, the first way, she'll hit me, boom, and I can hit her, boom. Not really a defense. It's the worst way to end a confrontation or to have a confrontation. You don't want to take a hit. That would be the first way. The second way would be when she strikes, I defend, and then I strike back. Better, still not great. The third way, we start to get into a much better way of defending. It's called we hit and strike simultaneously. We defend and strike simultaneously. So when does it, boom. I defend and I hit simultaneously. Or I can go like this, boom. I'm defending and I'm striking at the same time. The fourth way, which is my favorite way, is called limb destruction. I step out, boom. I destroy that limb. I can go here, I can go here, I can go to the outside. Any of those ways work. So one more time, I step out, I just do a strike or a strike here.
I'm just watching Sifu Helena sort of go through her basic punches and counters while she's thinking of her shopping list, something like that.
Usually.
Every martial artist that I know has a habit like this, where it's just sort of in your body. But it's actually a great sort of training method to make sure that your martial arts don't stay just in the gym. They're part of your whole life. I first saw this when I was a new martial arts student. We had brought over a group of coaches from China, and we took them on a shopping trip. We were in San Francisco. We were just walking down the street, and they were all doing their basic forms and techniques. And I looked at it, I thought, well, that's kind of strange. But later on, it totally happened to me. I do this now the same way. It might even happen to you. So we've just seen a close-up of this limb destruction. What's next?
The next step on the defenses, David Dorian, is called the stop hit. And the stop hit is really the essence of what Jeet Kune Do is all about.
Now we're getting to it.
Yes.
All right, well, why don't you guys play and I'll just watch.
Thank you. So now, the stop hit, as I said, is the essence. Basically what this is, I'm going to stop the hit from coming at me, from striking me, by getting rid of that before it actually happens. So when she strikes, I stop the hit from coming in before it actually hits me. I hit her first. So I can do this with my foot. I can do this with a step out and a strike to the face. I can even do it with a step out and a strike to the body. The idea is to stop the strike from coming in, intercepting, way of the intercepting fist. This is what that is all about. Thank you, ma'am. Now, if we go back to the fourth defense, which was the limb destruction, I'd like to do that together with you now. So if we stand here, hands are up just like you did before. If you're in the mirror, imagine the hand coming straight at you. That jab is coming straight at your nose. We're going to take the right leg, step out to evade the punch. Middle knuckle is going to go right here between the bicep and the muscle here, and boom, you're going to rake it straight through and stop it right there. So one more time, we're going to do this together. Step out and hit. Good. Again, step out and hit. One more time and go. Boom. That's it. Now you can also do that with the right hand on the forearm. So as the punch comes out, I step with the right, I turn, and bam! You're going to have your hand closed like this, like you have an ice pick in your hand, and you're going to use this part, or you can use your forearm as well. So if we do this, 1, that's it. Let's do it again. 2, boom. And let's go one more time, and 3, bam.
Every time I observe you guys learning this thing, I get all jealous because I want to play too. Can I jump in here? Maybe Amy and I can do this together?
Absolutely. It's your turn. Come on in.
I'm going to get over here. All right. So set us up.
Yes, let's have you strike at Amy so she gets a chance to try it. Okay, now this position here, You can do this. The challenge with this part for the limb destruction is you're open out to this strike here. So we always, as a rule of thumb, want to evade to the outside where it's a little bit safer. So take your right foot, step out, and right there. Let's make sure you're in the right spot. Let's do that one more. Yeah, right there, and pull it right through. Do it 2 more times for me. Ready? 1. Good. And 1 more time. Excellent. David Dorian, would you like to try?
1 more time. Yes, let me try 1 time.
You do it.
Okay. I'm going to step out and boom, like
That's
that.
the second one. Absolutely.
Okay.
Do it again. 2. Perfect. And 1 more. Nice job.
All right. Well, these are the first 3 levels of the Junfan training. Remember, there's a platform that rises up this way to give you the foundation for Jeet Kune Do training. We're going to see more right now. Sifu, bow us out.
Yep. And you may. You like?
You know, as I study different martial arts styles, coming from a martial arts background, I'm conscious of the fact that for beginners, a lot of the techniques are, at least unusual and sometimes seem like incomprehensible, like without the breakdown to get them started. It's like, I don't even know how I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to match the black belts or the upper level students. How am I going to even take on this martial art? But you said something to me that it really struck me, which was that you never know what you're capable of until you try.
Absolutely. And that's really the essence of martial art in general. You don't know what you're capable of until you attempt to do certain things. And as you become more proficient in the martial arts, it's a self-discovery. It is actually a voyage of self-discovery. You find things about yourself that you never knew were in there. You find a power within. You find a strength and a confidence that you might not have gotten through any other vehicle. Because what it does is it puts you in a position that you might not normally be in, and it allows you to really see what you're capable of doing.
This is sort of the inside message of martial arts training, that it's a deliberate path, that now there is a step-by-step method. The journey of self-discovery is something that we should all go through, but how do you make that happen? And then the martial arts teacher comes along and says, I'm going to set before you a series of tasks which will take you on that journey to open that up.
And sometimes the journey's enjoyable, sometimes it's painful, sometimes you don't like it, but it's all extremely important. Sometimes the things you like the least give you the most growth.
Now, are there specific kinds of philosophies or ways of learning this inherent to Jeet Kune Do?
Absolutely. I think the biggest philosophy that Jeet Kune Do goes by are the 4 tenets. Absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, research your own experience, and then add what is specifically your own. So you absorb what is useful for you. What works for me might not work for you. My truth might not be your truth when it comes to martial art or life in general. Then you reject what is useless. You throw away things that don't work well for you. You get rid of it. Researching your own experiences helps you understand what works and what doesn't work. And then you add what is specifically your own that works for you. Bruce Lee took different pieces of different martial arts, took something from fencing, from Western boxing, from Savate, from Muay Thai, and he created what worked for him. He added what was specifically his own. And that is really the essence of what the Jeet Kune Do training is all about.
I'm impressed time and time again, studying a little bit about the life of Bruce Lee, in that his overall, sort of expression again and again was that Jeet Kune Do was not just about martial arts. It was about life itself, about becoming a person who could express their own essence in it. And I'm just struck by this philosophy, these 4 tenets in life, as you said, not just in martial arts. To number 1, what was the first one?
Absorb what is useful.
Absorb what is useful. Number 2?
Discard what is useless.
Discard what is useless. What doesn't work for you. It might work for somebody else.
Correct.
But it may not work for you in your life.
Absolutely. Research your own experiences.
Research. So it's really what I have experienced, what I have felt, what I have known inside, not necessarily what somebody else tells me.
Absolutely.
And the 4th one?
Is add what is specifically your own.
Add what is specifically your own. I love that. Thank you so much, Sifu.
Oh, my pleasure.